How's it going, comic fans? Welcome back to Cafeteria Drops for another minute-ish comic book review. The month of May is an exciting one as Valiant and Alien Books are officially kicking off their Road to Resurgence universe-spanning event. Each month leading up to September, there will be multiple books dropping, including Bloodshot Unleashed Reloaded, Exo Man-O-War Invictus, and today's much-anticipated and hyped title, The Valiants. Does this team-up book featuring Valiant's A-list roster make an explosive debut, or is it a dud? Stay tuned to find out. Alright, let's start with the narrative of the Valiants issue number 1. As I discussed in my video about the Road to Resurgence event, this is a turning point for Valiant. There are a lot of unknowns, variables, and new talent that are taking the narrative and visual reins for this event. In my opinion, Valiant needs to take the existing lore, build upon it, and chart a new course for these characters. Fortunately, I can say that they've done an admirable job to do just that. For the Valiants, the writing duties have been handed to Ryan Cady, whose credits include The Punisher, Venom, X-Files, and other comic properties. He takes us immediately into the fray by opening this issue with a sinkhole swallowing up a portion of Washington, D.C. In response to this, GATE, the Global Agency for Threat Excision, and Brigadier General Jamie Capshaw decide to get the band back together, namely Unity. Unity is essentially Valiant's version of the Avengers, and in its original run included Exo Man-O-War, Ninjak, Livewire, the Eternal Warrior, Bloodshot, and other heroes here and there. Currently, many of those heroes are MIA or handling other assignments within the Valiant universe. This is where our first conflict is introduced. How does Capshaw assemble a team to handle this sinkhole issue when Exo Man-O-War is off-world, Livewire is an international fugitive, and Bloodshot is off fighting the spent shells? Well, she does the best she can. With Eidolon, the forgettable Bloodshot semi-love interest from Tim Seeley's run of Bloodshot. Now, that run was a complete mess. Ninjak and his handler Mina, and the Eternal Warrior and Tama the Geomancer. Oh, and don't forget the robot butler that strangely looks like a synth made by Father in the year 4001. After assembling the team, they descend into a huge sinkhole only to discover that it's populated with trees and giant bugs. Really, Valiant? Oh, this is the best that you could come up with? However, we get an exciting reveal when the team stumbles upon an Aztec-styled ziggurat that, according to Capshaw, was commissioned by Congress. Why would Congress commission a ziggurat in a sinkhole? Why was that even mentioned? Anyways, the big reveal happens when they see the one and only Boone sitting on top of this edifice. Yeah, you know, the Boone that gave Gilad, the Eternal Warrior, Armstrong, and Ivar their powers. Yeah, that one. Unfortunately, this one is glowing red instead of blue and is attracting more bugs, according to the Eternal Warrior. Of course, we can't have any more bugs now, so Capshaw just tackles the thing, and it disappears with a crack-a-thoom. The issue ends with another reveal during a conversation between Tama, the current Geomancer, and Capshaw. Suddenly, Deathmate just appears out of nowhere. Yeah, that Deathmate. Bloodshot's former love interest in the Valiant Limited series, who is also a Geomancer. This issue is just all over the place. Overall, the narrative is a double-edged sword here. On one side, it was exciting to see the likes of Ninjak, the Eternal Warrior, Tama, and GATE team up. The plot threads have been laid to connect this with the overarching Valiant universe, and that's certainly a plus. However, on the other side, the story is just unfocused and not cohesive. I'll give Ryan Cady kudos for the nostalgia here, but the story beats ultimately fall flat because of the erratic pacing. Was it awesome to see the heroes back together? Yes, but I want an interesting and cohesive narrative for them to exist within. Alright, now let's discuss the visuals of the Valiants issue number 1. On the visuals for this issue, we have Al Barnanuevo, who has jumped from Bloodshot Unleashed Reloaded to this title, with flats by Ludwig Olimba and colors by Nobi. How does the new talent fare with handling the first big release from Valiant and Alien Books? Let's take a look. I will have to say that I'm impressed with Al Barnanuevo's art in this issue. I can tell he had considerably more time to piece together each panel than he had with Bloodshot Unleashed Reloaded, and it certainly shows. As a result, we get a more consistent look throughout this book with faces, hands, and settings all remaining recognizable. However, some of the issues I've seen before are here but to a lesser degree. Some characters look stiff and some panels are wide open shots of landscapes with not much going on. It certainly makes me want to skip over these panels entirely. But when the action ramps up, Barnanuevo does a good job of focusing on the heroes and framing the action. But the enemies always seem to be just out of shot. It's hard to feel the intensity of an action sequence when the enemy is always just outside the framing. In my opinion, the colors from Ludwig Olimba and Nobi are the strongest aspects of this book. Colors are vibrant and lush and really bring the scenes within the panels together in a cohesive way that the art and the story just couldn't accomplish in this issue. Overall, the pencils and colors complement each other nicely and, while not perfect, are certainly a step up from other projects Valiant has released recently. Okay, to summarize my thoughts on the Valiants issue number 1. The pros of this issue are its ties to Valiant's past. The nostalgia of finally seeing these characters together again is great, and the reveal of Deathmaid at the end is a nice touch. The art is also better than other recent Valiant efforts. However, the cons of this book outweigh the pros. The story is a mess and pacing is all over the place. The reveals fall flat, the art is hit or miss with characters sometimes looking stiff, and some panels are just boring. So, was the book an explosive debut or a dud? Well, it's really somewhere in between. If you're a Valiant fan like me, you'll get some enjoyment out of it, but you'll also want it to be so much more than it is. Alright, comic fans, that wraps up my review of the Valiants issue number 1 by Ryan Cady and Al Barnanuevo. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more comic goodness, and let me know in the comments what you think about the debut issue of The Road to Resurgence. Look out for reviews of Faith Returns number 1 and Punk Mambo the Punk Witch Project coming soon. See you guys later.